Good evening. Welcome to North Korea, USA. Physical distancing guidelines have been in place to protect people from the certain death of cooties and other vicious viruses. But unfortunately, there's been a missing piece in the safety puzzle. That's probably why human immortality has yet to be achieved. And that missing companion piece to physical distancing is emotional distancing. We'll be implementing guidelines immediately. So you can achieve the lowest quality of life possible as you make your life about avoiding death. Here are your emotional distancing guidelines. And please keep in mind, these guidelines that insist on you violating your true nature are for your protection. Avoid eye contact. For your protection, it'll be best if you refuse to look into other people's eyes. It is acceptable to either look at their feet or the ground in front of their feet. It shows them that you care. So instead of actually caring, show them that you care by avoiding eye contact. Cover your whole face. Only covering your mouth and nose with a mask is like wearing shoes with no pants. The new emotional distancing guidelines require you to cover your eyes and the rest of your face with a mask to protect people from emotional connection with you. Before we go on, we have an expert interview with a man who is not an expert in this area, yet has more money than God, and stands to make an enormous amount of more money selling you the mandatory cure for what we're telling you you're afraid of. Willie, if you're there, how terrible is emotional connection, and is a cure nearby?
First, I'd like to point out I'm wearing a sweater, which makes me very trustworthy. Second, human connection is a source of all feelings of rejection. Now, people just don't have the capacity to deal with feelings like that. So we've constructed the most effective emotional distancing guidelines possible to protect people from themselves. From there, we're working on a medication to cure feelings of rejection and heartache. Only then will it be safe for people to go back to being connected with each other.
How is the medication being funded?
With taxpayer money. And once the medication's developed, we'll sell it back to the taxpayers.
Thank you, Willie. You are definitely wearing a sweater. Now back to the emotional distancing guidelines. Get rid of your friends. Your friends are just petri dishes full of contagious illnesses and diseases hoping to infect you. In the frightening world we live in now, the way you can be a good friend to your friends is to not be friends with them anymore. Remember, this isn't just about protecting yourself. This is about protecting other people. Never shake hands. Shaking hands used to be a symbol of honor, friendship, and connection. But now shaking hands is basically the same thing as drinking out of the toilet. And for maximum protection against homicidal handshakers, we recommend you amputate your hands. Keep your children in cages. Teach your kids how to live a life not worth living so they can be safe in the prison of protection that you teach them to build for themselves. Like instead of letting them play with friends, give them a drawing of a friend and have them play with that instead, because it's much safer. It was once thought that human connection is what spreads love with others and empowers you to connect with your own heart. Now, luckily, we know it's more ideal to be afraid of the very thing that spreads love and gets you in touch with your heart. Plus, always having to think about these guidelines will make you live more in your head while you emotionally distance yourself from your own heart even more. #obedience. You should know it is a privilege for you to give up your rights for our control that we tell you is for your protection. And while you have to be fearful to comply, we'll tell you you're being brave, because it takes a lot of manipulation for the few to control the many. Hey, you don't have to hide in the closet socially distancing yourself from blue light any longer, because now you have Blue Blocks, my favorite evidence-based blue light blocking glasses. And I want to thank Blue Blocks for sponsoring this video. If you like to have low energy and feel like crap, then Blue Blocks isn't for you. But if you're like me and you like to have great energy and feel your best, then Blue Blocks will help you get there. Science has shown that the blue light from your screens, computers, and TVs, your phones at night, it interferes with your sleep hormone production, which means you get a lesser quality of sleep and you wake up the next day with less energy and a messed up hormone system. But Blue Blocks solves that problem for you because you just put on a pair at night and they block the blue light, which means you get better sleep and you wake up the next day with more energy and functioning better with a healthy hormonal system. I've been loving Blue Blocks. I use them every night. And if you want to join me in using Blue Blocks, just go to blueblocks.com/JP, and to get 15% off, use the discount code JP.